Hello, boys and girls. This is your multiplication 2 by 2. It is the last lesson right before our review, and it's lesson number 9. So let's take a look at multiplication where you have 2 digits on top and 2 digits on the bottom. That is going to be what we're going to do today, and then there will be an activity that you're going to do, the cool down, and you will turn that activity in. Let's take a look at this problem right here. It says task A, solve the problem using the strategy of your choice. Now, what does that mean? What choices do we have? Let's talk about what choices we have and what strategies we can use to multiply. So here we have task A. We have 36 multiplied by 28. Now, first of all, I'd like to ask you, what do you call this number and this number? Those are the 2 numbers that you're multiplying, and they're called a factor. Those are the factors. Here we have 2 factors that have digits in the ones and tens. Now, what would you call the answer to a multiplication problem? That is the product. That is the product, okay? That's a P right there. So sometimes they might ask you, what is the product of 36 and 28? And what you're going to do is multiply, and the product will be the answer. I'd like to ask you something else. If I was going to solve this multiplication problem, and I wasn't too, and what if I did not want to start with the standard algorithm and I wanted to do an area model? Which of the 2 area models would I use to solve this problem, 36 times 28? Would I use the area model that has spaces for ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and multiply by a number that has a digit in the ones? Would I use an area model that has space for place value numbers that have digits in the ones and tens? What do you think? Which one would you use for this multiplication problem? And this here is simply the symbol for multiplication. That's why I put it there in the corner to remind me that I'm multiplying, because pretty soon I'm going to divide and it's going to look something like that. I don't want to get confused. So what do you think? Yes, I would definitely use the second one. I would not use the first one because I don't have hundreds or thousands in this one. So I'm just going to slash that out. I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to focus on the one that has ones and tens. So 36, I have to decompose it. It would be a 30. And down here, a 6. Now I made this section smaller because this number is going to be in the ones place. Okay, now I have to decompose the 28. 28 would be 20 and then 8. Ms. Hall has told us that we have permission to use our multiplication table, our multiplication chart. And that's great news. So make sure that you have it handy right next to you, just in case you need it. So I'm about to start multiplying, but I have to remember another one of my multiplication strategies, the one that we call the trailing zeros. That's always very helpful because I'm really good at zeros. I can multiply quickly when I have zeros, just like I do when I'm rounding. So let's get this started. Right here, I have 3 times 2 is 6 with 2 trailing zeros. Now, this is where they would meet. Now let me move over to the 30 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. And now the trailing zeros on this side, 240. The 6 will be here and the 20 will be multiplied by the 6 down here. 6 times 2 is 12 with 1 trailing zero. Over here, I will multiply the 6 times the 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Next thing to do, what do you think? Are we finished? Not at all. We're going to put these together and add them up. So it's 600 plus 240. I have to put check marks, that way I don't forget one of the numbers, plus 120 plus my 48. I am careful to put this in the correct place value. So 8, 8, 9, 10, regroup, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got, let me put my comma in here, 1,000, whoopsie, 1,008. So this is my area model. Now I'm going to work this out using my standard algorithm. All right, so now I will go ahead and attempt the standard algorithm. Let's take a look-see here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cover this right here. I don't want to get confused. And I'll start with multiplying 8 times 6 is 48. I regroup my tens, put them in a box with a plus sign. Then I multiply 8 times 3 is 24 plus 4 is how much? Yes, 28. Now, my next strategy is that I'm going to do an X, X, O. And here I put a little smiley face because I don't want to forget to put a 0 there because this isn't really 2 times 6. It'll be 20 times 6. And the way I remember that is I sing the song, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I put a smiley face there. Now I can multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. Regroup. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And I put this all together. So here I have an 8, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see if my answers match. 1,008 and 1,008. So yes, these do match, and I multiplied it together. So that is how I would do my area model and how I would do my standard algorithm. Now I'd like for you to take out your math journal so that you can give this a try. It's going to be a simple one, and you're only going to have to do one. Take a look at this problem right here. This one right here says 27 times 13, and it says to include the strategy that you use to solve the problem. Now, everyone's different. Some kids prefer the area model. Some kids prefer the standard algorithm. It's up to you which one you try, but you try one of them. And I'm going to also ask you to estimate before you start to find the actual answer. So 2 things, you're going to estimate, and then you're going to find the actual answer to this multiplication problem. And as you remember, as we were talking about, product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So here it's telling you to multiply them. So press pause, estimate, and then multiply, and then find the actual answer. When you're ready, press play, and let's check to see what you got and what I got. Okay, so we're back. Now, what did you, when you estimated, what did you do to this pair of numbers? Yes, I would have too. I would have made this a 30, even a 25 if I was doing compatible numbers, and make this a 10. And I would have multiplied it. When I multiply with trailing zeros, I like to put them all in a line horizontally. And I would have said, what's 30 times 1? That's 30 with 1 trailing 0. That would be my estimate. An estimate gives me an idea of what my answer should be. So my answer should be around 300. It's not going to exactly be 300, or it might, but it's going to be really close to it. So I'm ready to multiply. Now, let me ask you, which strategy, which multiplication strategy did you use? I know, me too. That's what my brain likes to start with. I like to start with the area model just because it lets me look at each of the digits and the place values individually, and I don't get confused. But I'm going to use the actual numbers. So I'm going to decompose 27 into 20 and 7. Did you do that? And then I'll decompose 13 into 10, 3. Now let me know if there's something I'm doing wrong. I want you to help me. Then I did my trailing 0. So I said, what's 20 times 1? It's 20 with 1 trailing 0. For this one, I'm doing 2 times 3, which is 6, and 1 trailing 0. 7 times 10 is 70. And I know that 7 times 3 is 21. Now let me add them up. So I have 200, check, plus 60, check, plus 70, check, plus 31. Let's take a look-see here. I know that 7 plus 3 is 10 and 6 is 16. 2 and 1 is 3. So here I have 361. Thank you so much. Thank you for catching that. This is a 2 right here, 21. I put a 3. So this is also a 2. So I'm going to just start this part over again. So it's 200 plus 60 plus 70 plus 21. Let me add that up again. So whenever I make a mistake, I want to double check. Whenever I finish a problem, I like to double check it in case there's a mistake. So here we go. 7 plus 2 is 9, and 9 plus 6 is 15. 2 plus 1 is 3. Much better. That looks a lot better. So isn't 351 close to 300? That's the answer I got. Okay, so now I will go ahead and attempt to do, this is the area model, but I will attempt to do the standard algorithm, which my your fifth grade teachers and your parents really want you to learn and master. So here it goes. I will use my Post-it note. I advise you to use it as well. 3 times 7 is 21. Put it in the box with a plus sign. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I have to add what I regrouped. 6 plus 2 is 8. I do my X, O. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Don't forget to put your little 0 here with a smiley face, because this is not a 1, it's a 10. Now I can start. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. And I'm so glad that I did the XXO strategy, because I know that I'm not to add the 2 again, because that was from the ones place. 1, 8 plus 7 is 15. 2 plus 1 is 3. Did they match? Yes, they did. And again, you should always estimate, even if it's not asking for it, just to see if what a ballpark number the answer should be in, if you're close to it or not. Now, you will have some problems in the cool down that actually tell you to estimate. So you will have to do the rounding on that one for the correct answer. Other times you may have extra information. So you want to make sure that you read your word problem correctly, so that you can analyze it and have all of the data that you need. So here you have the cool down that you're going to do today. The first one is right here, and you have lots of information, but make sure that you read the question carefully, because it's going to ask how many counters does she need for her class project. You're looking for the total number of counters, and counters could be those little circles that are red on one side, yellow on the other. They could be little shapes, sometimes teddy bears. So it's talking about the counters. It's asking you to estimate it first. So you have to round the numbers that you're going to analyze and use. Then it says to actually solve it with the area model and do the standard algorithm here on the bottom. Number 2, you have another problem, and it says to estimate and solve for the total number of students. So on one side, you'll estimate, and on the other side, you will find the actual answer. So 2 different tasks here. This one is asking about the number of books that will be read by the end of the year. You may want to estimate, but you don't have to. You do have to find the actual answer. Don't forget to use your multiplication chart and use your notes so that you can make sure that you know what strategies to use. So good luck on this activity, and I hope that you are well prepared for the test that you're going to take on Thursday. I know you will do a great job. Have a great day, Tigers.